When do hunters become builders? And what's the deal with deer milk? Hey everyone,
I'm Henry.
and I'm Father Johannes. Welcome to Hermit and Hog.
Via Alpina Sacra Edition.
Last episode I went on a little rant about concrete bunker churches and brutalism.
You imbecile. Are you going to rage some more?
I didn't rage, I was passionate. But we are not going down that ugly road today. Instead, we are going to continue our walk on narrow paths, passing oaks and stone walls. Butterflies, and crossing the border into Slovenia. Towards the end of the second day, I arrived in the village of Sveto. In its center there is an unassuming parish church with an octagonal floor plan.
Ah, resurrection symbolism again.
Yes, indeed. We talked about that 2 episodes back, but what makes this church unique and remarkable in Slovenian church architecture is the roof construction. The roof is supported by a single column. The church is consecrated to St. Giles, a saint that lived at the turn of the 7th to the 8th century. He's among the most popular saints in the Alps, though his name is rendered Egidius or Egidio in other languages, and there are many places named after him.
So he was from the Alps.
No, actually, he was from Athens.
So he moved to the Alps.
No, he lived in southern France near the mouth of the river Rhône.
But then why was he popular in the Alps?
He was popular in the Alps, but not just in the Alps. For he's counted among the 14 holy helpers.
14 holy helpers?
That would be an interesting topic, but for another day. Let us stick to St. Giles. He lived in the woods as a hermit, and legend tells the story of how his only companion was a deer whose milk, willingly given, nourished the saint. One day the king of the region, Wamba, went on a hunt and, spying the deer, drew his bow.
Oh no, he didn't.
Yes, he did. I realize hunting is somewhat an emotional topic for you, but not to worry. Before the arrow could pierce the hind, St. Giles threw himself into harm's way to protect his 4-legged companion, and all that without being a Peter activist.
Good man.
So he saved the deer. And then King Wamba came running, embarrassed of having just shot a holy man, and as most embarrassed kings who shoot holy men are wont to do, he promised to build a monastery in reparation for his deed. And when he had done so, he begged St. Giles to be its first abbot. St. Giles agreed and lived out the remainder of his life as the head of that community. After his death, the monastery would become a major pilgrimage destination in southern France. Pilgrims on the southern route to the tomb of St. James would all stop at this place near Arles. So that is the story of St. Giles, and we could leave it at that.
But you're probably not going to.
No, I think it's worth looking at this story in a spiritual way. The deer in the Bible serves as an image for the soul's thirst for God, for the living waters that he dispenses, for baptism and its grace. As the deer longs for streams of water, so my soul longs for you, O God.
Psalm 42.
Exactly. And in fact, for this reason, the deer has frequently been used in the artistic decoration of baptistries. Emperor Constantine, for example, donated 7 silver deer to the baptistry of the Lateran Hill in Rome. So, if we take the story of St. Giles, it was the thirst for God that led him into the wilderness and solitude. He was nourished by it. And when the king, symbol of worldliness and earthly power, threatened to take away that desire of his soul, St. Giles was ready to rather give his life than sacrifice his longing for God. He was wounded in the encounter, and history tells that he would suffer from that wound for the remaining decades of his life. Yet he willingly accepted the pain. Thus the wound he bore out of love would both sanctify his life and bring the king to change his ways. To let yourself be wounded for the love of God, this is where St. Giles touches the mystery of the cross, the mystery of Christ giving his life to the Father in love. He touches the mystery of human existence, redemption, and that which keeps the world together. I think the church in Sveto reflects this beautifully. That which keeps it all together is that one pillar with the cross. Much like the world as a whole, it would crumble without the sacrificial love that forms that pillar. A quick takeaway: the deer is a symbol of desire for God. Love, making itself vulnerable, carries the world.
And you really shouldn't name your kid Wamba.
I guess. That is all for now. See you next week. In the meantime, be joyful, do good,
And let the pigs whistle.